Good afternoon, Bison fans, and welcome to our virtual Bucknell women's tennis season preview. My name is Todd Newcomb, and I'm joined today by Maisha Kelly, our Senior Associate AD for Development. And we want to take this opportunity to thank Giant for sponsoring this year's season preview series. We've got a great lineup for you today, featuring head coach Tammy Cicchini and three of our current student athletes, Sophia Ayuso, Rachel Carroll, and Kayla Koch. Time now to welcome in head coach Tammy Cicchini. Thanks.
Hello.
Head coach.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. So
Yeah.
Tammy became the head coach of the program in August of 2019. And after a fall campaign with the team and 9 matches during the spring, COVID came in and the season was abruptly canceled. The team was 6-3 at the time, and the team had won 5 of its last 6 matches prior to being stopped for the season. Prior to coming to Bucknell and taking the job here at Bucknell, Tammy was the head coach for 5 seasons at Valparaiso University in Indiana. And today, Tammy, we're going to start with Maisha, and she's going to get things rolling with some questions about returning to play.
Sure. Hi, Maisha.
Hi, Tammy. Welcome. Thanks for being here with us this afternoon.
Thanks for changing your background. I love it.
Well, this is aspirational, right? We all want to be outside in the sun and playing tennis. So
I know.
But before we jump into the return to play and all that went in, as well as the completion of a hopeful spring 2021 season, how much are you personally looking forward to being back and actively coaching with your team?
I'm not exactly sure if I can put it into words, what it means to have everyone back healthy, and just so many adjectives I can use, from excited to giddy to maybe a little nervous, since it's been almost a year since we've been on court, enthusiastic, hopeful, everything. We're just really, really anxious and excited to be back and competing soon.
That's great. Well, needless to say, we know a lot has gone on to planning, extensive planning from a safety and health standpoint. Can you just share what some of the daily things are that you and your team have to go through in order to get to this point?
Yeah. Well, with practices, we're always wearing masks on courts. Tennis is a great social distancing sport. It's a low risk sport, so we're lucky in that sense. We're always washing hands and no sharing. Planning the season, the most, I guess, work I've had to put in is with traveling, with the van capacities. But, we're a small team, so having smaller practices is fine. So I'm used to it. They're all used to it. So we're lucky in the sense that tennis, smaller team, low risk sport. It hasn't been that difficult, and they're so good with being careful. We've been very lucky with that too, that everyone's been healthy so far. I have 10 players on my team, and happy to say that they're all healthy.
That's great.
Yeah.
And we know there'll be a cadence of testing that the campus is going through, and certainly our teams are doing something similar. And with that and the planning, there's also the competition piece. And so how much have you and your colleagues in the Patriot League been in touch, communicating about the season, as well as how you're going to be flexible and pivot should you need to do so because of the impact of COVID?
It's been wonderful. All of the coaches, we've been supporting each other. Everyone's been really flexible and understanding. It's been a really great community. The tennis community has been. So, yeah. I'm sorry, what was your second question?
Nope, that's it. Just the flexibility that you knowing that you.
Everyone's been really understanding with it.
That's
so,
great.
On both sides, obviously, I've been really understanding with coaches that have had to switch dates or times, and other coaches have been understanding with us too. So
sort of like speed bonding with your peers there in Patriot League.
Yeah.
Well, that's great to know, and I know that working across institutions has been critical to the success of all this. But certainly we've seen in sports that have already started, there has been some pause, there's been stop and go. And so with that, and even counting back to March and dealing with the fall and what was certainly not the usual fall for the tennis program, would you say, and how do you think the women have responded as far as from a mental and emotional and even physical standpoint, what the impacts may have been positively or negatively?
I don't know if I'm just really optimistic all the time, but we had fall evaluations after the fall, and we had a really great fall season. During the fall, we really took time to explore Bucknell. So like we went potato picking. I mean, we have a farm here in Bucknell, so we were able to spend a beautiful Saturday morning picking potatoes. We went kayaking. We did hill runs. We were able to do a mixed doubles tournament with the men's team. We had fun Fridays. We mixed in some carnival games with sprints. So our fall season was okay. We feel very lucky in the sense that other teams maybe didn't have a good of a season as we did. So we left the fall feeling really upbeat and optimistic that all the hard we put in, we were going to have a spring season. And we will have a spring season. So we came back, everyone went home, and again, tennis is such a easy, socially distanced sport. So everyone was able to go back home, take a break, reset, get back into shape, play some tournaments, play some matches, train. And yeah, we're back, we're anxious and we're eager. So yeah, everything's just, yeah, we're doing well.
That's great. Optimism, welcome.
Good. Yeah, we're good.
So Tammy, let's turn the attention to the team right now.
Yeah, please.
Individuals on the team. But the first question I have for you actually is from one of our viewers, and it's Mark in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And Mark says the women's tennis team has had several talented players through the years. Has COVID influenced your recruiting, and were you able to sign talented players for the upcoming season?
Yes, we have 3 strong recruits coming in, one from Florida, one from Louisiana, and my first international player from Abu Dhabi. 2 of them were able to visit campus, so that was really important for them and for us to have them know what it's like to be here at Bucknell. And when they all stepped foot on campus, they all knew that this is where they needed to be for the next 4 years. So that was good. I was unable to see them play in person, so that was unusual. So it was all through video. Team dynamics is really important to our team. So with the 3 of them and with many other recruits, I introduced them to the team, and we all agreed, it was a unanimous decision that these 3 players, were a good fit for our team, and we were happy that they agreed. So I'm losing three that have some, hard shoes to fill. But yeah, we're looking forward to next season. So yeah, we'll just be as strong as Bucknell's always been.
Well, I'm sure it was disappointing with the challenges that we have with the pandemic that you weren't able to travel to see your young lady in Abu Dhabi. That would have been an experience.
Well, I'm happy to say that we do have a trip planned in 2 years to go see her. She's told me not to go visit during the summer though, because the temperatures can rise up to like 120 degrees. Wow. So she says to come visit in the winter time. So plans are already in place to go visit her.
I'm sure the team's excited about that. So what are some of the strengths of the team that you have this season that may be new from last year and that people can be excited about heading into the year?
I have 3 seniors, new seniors, so the leadership is always welcomed. Each one of them are great leaders in their own way, and that's always welcomed. If someone has an issue to talk through or a question, each 3 of these seniors are strong they have strengths in their own ways. So a lot of leadership. We have 4 freshmen coming in or here. So that's 40% of our team. So that was great to add, that dynamic to the team. They're very energetic, these 4. So it's exciting to, have that energy on the court. But leadership and, those 4 freshmen coming in or that are here.
Tammy, you mentioned that the fall you spent time doing things that were unique given the circumstances. But so with that, of course, there weren't the fall tournaments that you're accustomed to as you go into the spring half of your season. And so what were the things that the team did to prepare from a competitive standpoint?
Yeah, so the competition had to be within our squad. So, but at the same time, we tried to make it fun. So we did have a couple blue-orange days where, I would pick a team of 5 and another team of 5, and they would, actually Chloe was out. So it was 5 and 5, and they would come up with their own lineup, singles and doubles. And we had the mixed doubles tournament with the men, and we did a lot of conditioning, and yeah, that's really what we could do.
So you mentioned a little bit about your senior leadership. Can you expand on what those 3 ladies have done in terms of not only helping you as the head coach, but maybe helping some of the younger players on the team get through some of these challenges that everybody's had to experience over the past year and a half?
Right. Always positivity, just telling them that, it will happen. We're just waiting for competition. We talk about all the memories that they've had with the van rides and the hotel stays, and, they'll get their time. I know that Sophia, we do have a freshman who is also a computer science major, just like Sophia is. Computer engineer like Sophia is. So Sophia's kind of taken her under her wing. I know they each have a little sister that they've taken underneath their wing. So 3 seniors, 4 freshmen. So, but yeah, they're always watching out for the younger ones.
Well, we're going to hear from those 3 shortly, but and you and I know we have been doing the Through the Decade series for women's tennis over the past week or so, and each of those 3 ladies did a great job.
Yeah.
And it's a tribute to your programs. You got some really strong leadership there.
Yeah,
so Coach,
really proud of them.
With us today, and good luck to you this season. And we hope everything works out for the best.
Thank you.
All right, so it's time now to welcome our 3 current players to today's program.
Hi.
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
So our first guest is Senior Sofia Ayuso, hails from Nueva Esparta, Venezuela. Thanks for joining us, Sofia.
Thank you for having us.
Sophia, I have the first question for you. So welcome. And can you share with us how you were able to train and stay on top of your game and fitness level in preparation for the spring season? And then the second part of that, now that we are back and you've had some time to be with the full team, how has that been?
Yes. So, well, over the winter break, I was in Boston, outside of Boston, and where I was, I didn't really have access to indoor tennis courts, and the tennis courts that were available were obviously full of snow, and it was very cold. But I did have access to a gym, so just make sure that I stayed in shape in there, and my conditioning was ready for when I could start hitting again. And we did start practice, so I could see that did pay off. So that's kind of how I stayed in shape over the break. And about being back with everyone, it's been great. It feels like a very long break. It was longer than usual. So being back with everyone and practicing and playing like points and everything, it's been great.
So Sophia, you're now in your 2nd year with Coach Cicchini at the helm of the program. what are some of her coaching qualities that you really appreciate?
I really appreciate that she is very receptive would be the word, I think. She always listens when I have a concern about my game or even outside of tennis. If I have any issues that I'm dealing with academically or outside, I feel very comfortable coming up to her and talking about what's going on. And I think that also is a good quality on the court when well, now it's been a while since we played a match, but last year when we were playing matches, if she's sitting there on the court with you, it feels like you can really talk about what's happening and really come to a solution to the current problem in the match, as you can do when you're talking about outside activities with her. So yeah, that's something I appreciate.
Well, here's a viewer question for you, and it's from Marianne in Seattle, Washington. What is your favorite part of playing on the women's tennis team? And what learnings have you gained as part of the tennis team that you will take with you for your future?
Okay, so my favorite part about being on the tennis team, it's been such an experience. I can't think of my experience at Bucknell without the tennis team. Just being able to travel and spend so much time with the team has created, I don't want to sound cliche, but it has created a little like family far from home for me, and always having that support system when things are hard with like academically or life goes on, and you can always have these people to go to. So that's been a great part. And what I think I'm taking with me for my life, I've learned so much from being on the team. I think working as a team is something that I know will help me professionally and just personally. We're so different, but we've managed to work so well together. And that's definitely something that will help me later on. And as I've through the years, as I've gotten older, now that I'm a senior too, I've learned about leadership, seeing everyone else on the years above me and coach show that leadership. I've taken what I can do myself to be a better leader. And now that I'm senior, I'm trying to practice that too. And I know that also is going to be a skill that is going to be very helpful in the future.
So clearly, far from home is very accurate. Venezuela is not around the corner. How did you hear about Bucknell, first of all, and how did you wind up here as a member of the tennis team?
Yeah, I initially, I lived in Venezuela until I was 18, and that's where I played a lot of my tournaments. I played some internationally too, but I hadn't heard of Bucknell before. Up until I was 18, I started working with this agency that helped pair student athletes with schools that were a good fit for them. And I knew that I wanted to do some kind of engineering. I wasn't sure yet, and I knew that Bucknell had a great program, and it was a liberal arts school. The fact that the classes were small fit very well, and then so academically it was a great match. And then on the tennis team, Division I, great level, I didn't want to compromise either my tennis or my academics. I knew that I wanted to do both at the highest level that I could. So it just happened to be a great match, and conversations started with the coach, and everything kind of worked out. I didn't see the school before coming, but I definitely was very happy when I came for orientation. I knew that I made the right decision.
Well, we know the beginning and not to speed things along, but do you know what your plans are for the future after this semester concludes?
Yes, so I have a job that I will be starting in July. I'm not sure of the location yet. They will tell me in June, which is a little, it's exciting. It's scary, but it's exciting. I already did, I moved once from a very different place, so I know I'm ready for that. And wherever I end up, I know that I'll find tennis courts nearby. I'll try to find a way to put tennis into my routine, because it's given me so many good things, and I just want to enjoy it for as long as I can.
Well, that's terrific, and congratulations on the employment. And we really thank you so much for being here this afternoon, and wish you the very best this season, Sophia.
Thank you so much.
All right, so our next player is senior Rachel Carroll, who hails from Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome, Rachel. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start you off right away with a question from our viewing audience. This question is from Cindy in Hatboro, Pennsylvania. What type of training do you participate in during the off season, and how does that training change during your regular season?
Okay, so during our off season, I guess I'd be talking about this past winter when we had the long break. I went to some clinics nearby my house in Charlotte. I actually went with my mom sometimes, and so I was hitting with any age range really. So I was able to hit with people who are also college students playing tennis, and I was also able to hit with adults, and so anyone in their 40s and 50s. So it was a big age gap, which was fun though, because then I was able to hit with all different levels, and so I was able to challenge myself in doubles. And then in the clinic we would do singles drills, and so we were able to hit back and forth, and that was great. And I also played in a 4.0 singles small league just to have some match play under my belt in the winter. And we played outside just because we have indoor courts, but we were able to play outside. I know Sophie and Kayla say they don't like the cold, but I get by with it. And so I enjoyed playing on the outdoor courts during the off season. And yes.
Probably a little warmer in North Carolina versus Boston though.
Oh, 100%, definitely. And what was the second part of the question?
What was the second part of your question? How does the training change during your season? Do you do anything differently once you start playing matches during the regular season?
Oh, 100%. We're constantly lifting twice a week. And I think our schedule might change just because of COVID this year. But in the past, we have conditioning in between practice match play. We'll go to the indoor courts that are about 20 minutes away from Bucknell, and we'll just have the chance to play each other one-on-one. And then coach will be on the court coaching us too for the points. So that's really great that we get to do that. And then in practice, we'll mix it up. It really depends on the day, depends on the groups. And so sometimes we'll be in a group of like 4 people where we can do doubles, or we'll be with the whole team. That'll probably change now with COVID, but in the past we had the whole team. So we were doing drilling and really just having a fun time, especially I know on Fridays, that's our chance where if we don't have a match the next day, coach calls them Fun Fridays, where she'll have conditioning snuck into the practice. And so we'll be running around and we all just have a lot of fun.
Rachel, coach mentioned that 40% of the team this year are newcomers. And so what have you seen in this rookie class, and have you been able to give them any advice yet so far as they look at the start of their college careers?
Oh man, the freshmen, they're all so fun, energetic. Coach used that word, and that really describes everyone. First girl that really stands out to me is Maddie. Every single practice, which we'll probably get to see this in a match soon, she's always screaming and yelling, "Go Bison," which is really fun. And then she gets everyone else amped up. The other freshmen too are just very caring and always texting in the chat with us. Then we're able to ask them how they're doing. And I think advice I would give to each of them, I've gotten to talk with one-on-one with each of them coming into Bucknell too, would just be to live in the moment, because 4 years flies by, and I think they've gotten to experience that this year. So I saw one of them the other day. We were on the elliptical together, like far apart, and she started asking me about like the past and the fitness we used to do before COVID. And so I kind of gave her like an idea of what it's like. And I told her that, you just got to give it your all, like have fun and just remember everything and make memories, because it flies by. Looking back, I didn't regret any of it. Even the moments where we were dying in conditioning, or we were on the court and it was a 2.5 hour match. And I just remember everything, and it was all awesome.
So Rachel, we talked earlier to coach about some of the challenges that exist with training and competing in the current environment. From a student athlete standpoint, can you elaborate on some of that?
Yes. So right now It's been a little difficult just because we've been practicing some in the field house and we've been having to wear masks. And so that's a little hard to get used to just because they obviously get sweaty and gross. And so, but we've become accustomed to that since the fall, I think. And so now it's just getting back in that routine. And we know now going to matches, it's going to be different with fan rides. And we're going to have to make sure that we're all socially distanced. And as Coach said before, like we're lucky we have a team that's small and that we can do that with compared to other teams. And also, when it comes to matches, I'm sure we'll have protocols where you have to switch sides differently and we'll have hand sanitizer on the court.
Tennis is one of those sports that's both individual and team oriented. And so given that, what part of the game do you prefer more, singles or doubles? And also, what kind of how important is communication during doubles play?
Right. So I've always been a singles fan, as my teammates would tell you. I love the singles game. I just think it's fun. But then what's great is with doubles, I've enjoyed it more and more in college just because you're able to work one-on-one with your teammate, and just in between talking, in between points, you're able just to communicate what you want to do before serving and hand signals. And so that's really fun. I think I've enjoyed doubles even more now. And singles too, it's different, but like when you're side by side with everyone in a match, it doesn't feel like you're on your own, especially switching. Like you'll sit down with a teammate back to back on benches and you'll be able to lightly talk about how's it going or pump each other up. And if you see someone hit a winner down the court, you're able to yell to them. And yeah, everyone's just really excited in singles too.
So as Maisha mentioned when we were talking to Sophia, we don't want to push things and we want you to have a great spring season, but what about plans for you after graduation?
Yes, so I'm going to be moving to Wilmington, Delaware. I'm going to be an HR analyst with JP Morgan. So I'm really excited for the opportunity. And I went to Wilmington, Delaware once for the interview. Haven't been back since. And so it's going to be a completely new experience for me. And I'm just really excited to meet everyone there. And I know there's a lot of people that live in Philly that's around 20 minutes away that went to Bucknell. So hopefully I can reach out to that alumni network.
Well, that's outstanding. I mean, congratulations that you already have the job, and at least that part of the pressure is off you this spring and you can really enjoy the tennis season. So thanks for joining us again today, and best of luck with your season.
Thank you so much.
All right. And our final guest today is Kayla Koch, who's from Weston, Connecticut. Welcome, Kayla.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Kayla, it's great to have you. We're going to jump right in and talk about, so you've been a member of the program for a few years now. How have you evolved as a player? And what are your expectations for yourself this year, as well as what are they for the team?
Oh gosh. So, this year I'm so motivated because it's our last year. I know the situation that we're under is different and it's hard, but I've just learned, how to face adversity. I've learned that throughout my 3 years, and, it's been tough, but just trying to stay positive and excited to finish off strong. And, with my favorite people, my teammates, especially Rachel and Soph, I couldn't have done these past 3 years without them. It's just been so fun, and, just looking forward to the future and, playing. It's what we're here to do.
So as I alluded to earlier, we've been recording these sessions called Through the Decades for here at Bucknell. And recently we recorded the sessions for women's tennis, and you were able to take part, actually all three of you were able to take part in the decade for the 1980s.
Yes.
How was that, and what did you take away from those interactions?
Oh, that was such a fun experience. I really enjoyed getting to know the women who, played so long ago. And, I learned that just how different the culture was back then. They had to try out for the team on the spot every year. And, for us, the recruiting process is so different. So it was very interesting to hear their experiences and, what they told us about, what to expect as, a senior, and also for the future, and the goal setting was really inspiring to hear. And I'm so glad I had the chance to hear their wisdom that they went through as a Bucknell women's tennis player.
It pains me to hear you say that the 80s were so long ago, by the way.
I know, I'm sorry. Sorry, Mom. I know you're watching this.
Well,
No, it was great. It was a great experience. I loved it.
the energy, and I think even coaches' comments about optimism are all really great, especially coming from you three seniors in leadership. And so, with optimism and knowing that we are working towards that goal of getting to Patriot League play
Yes.
and the championship itself, even, what will it be like to play Patriot League
Oh,
opponents for the first time in
it's gonna
2
be
years?
a little bit nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie, just because it's been a while since, we've played matches, but I think it's gonna feel so good to be back on the court and, just gonna have fun with it and just know that this is the last time that we'll be able to be playing high-level, competitive, tough matches with the team.
So Kayla, as one of the three seniors here on the call, how do you see the attitude of the team right now, especially where everybody's head is mentally, having not played as Maisha said, in almost 2 years a match? What do things seem like as we get ready to potentially get back out there and start competition for you guys?
Yeah, I think it's, the unknown is a little bit, skeptical, especially for the younger girls that haven't had that, match play or even Patriot League match play. It's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but that's why me, Rach, and Soph are here, and also Daniela, who's another upperclassman, to really, motivate and help them because, they haven't played yet. And so, we're going to be there to stay positive for them and, mentor them in the right direction.
Same last question for you, and certainly one that I know you'll all be hearing a lot in the coming months, but do you have plans yet following graduation?
I don't have plans yet, but I am interviewing. I'm not gonna knock on wood here. But yeah, hopefully I'll land a job soon when I graduate, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, you're a great interview on this platform, so I'm sure you'll do great.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone who is watching too.
Kayla, I'm not going to let you off the hook. Maisha didn't know about this one, but I have one question for you. And it's from a viewer, and his name is Julio from Venezuela. You might recognize that person or who they might be associated with. And his question is, what things are you going to take from your experience with the Bucknell tennis program into your future once you leave Bucknell?
That's a really good question. I think post, playing a college sport, I've really learned how to be resilient, and it's made me mentally stronger. So I think, in the job situations and the relationships that I have with other people, I'm going to take all the skills that I've learned from being on the team with me, and, it goes from there. So, yeah.
Well, all right. I had to get that question in. It came in late today. Sure we got it into the program. So a special thanks to all of our guests today. We certainly appreciate their time. That'll just about wrap up today's show. Thank you to Jeffrey Campbell, Ben Blumenthal, and Jess O'Shaughnessy for their assistance with today's event. Our next event in our season preview series, sponsored by Giant, will be tomorrow, Wednesday, February 10th at noon, and will feature the men's and women's track and field programs. As a reminder, a complete schedule for the upcoming shows can be found on the Bucknell Athletics website at www.bucknellbison.com. Good afternoon, everyone, and go Bison.